Hey guys, it's Antiswipe again. I wanted to bring you the build that I've been running with on PoE2's Dawn of the Hunt league or launch. It's Galvanic Shards Pathfinder. It seems to be doing a pretty good job of keeping up with the end game. I have a mobilytics guide down in the description to talk about the various skills and details, but I wanted to give a quick video about like some of the content I'm doing and a map showcase a little bit. I don't know if I'll complete the entire map, but I did want to showcase what it's doing. We've been tweaking the build a lot. Been tweaking the build a lot since we started it. There's still a lot more to do because we're only in T7 maps, and getting it to T15s is going to be interesting. The last Galvanic Shards build that I ran was on Gimling Legionnaire, and it was fun, but I ended up needing to make a large overhaul to the build in order for it to get to the end game, and I don't actually think I took it to the end game. So this one I aim to play as long as I possibly can. There is plenty of damage that can be made from this. They did buff Galvanic Shards. They did nerf Shock Burst rounds, which is our single target, a little bit. But not too much. Damage still feels pretty good. I'll showcase that once we get to a rare. We haven't completed much of the Atlas yet. I'm in T7s, but I've only completed 2 Corrupted Nexuses, which is the progression, the Atlas progression strategy that we have in Dawn of the Hunt. And as you can see, I have a monkey, a quadrilla, whatever they're called. He's giving me a haste buff, which goes movement speed and attack speed. There's a video I'll also link down in the description from Localhall that tells you how to get the perfect monkey for your build. In my case, I do have attack speed and attack speed and movement speed, like I said earlier, but that is the only modifier that's good on him. I've heard earlier this morning that there is a chance to shock, or has the ability to shock, either on an AoE or I think by him attacking, which is super good for us because that enables us to use shock burst rounds quicker. But as you can see, it's blasting through. Lots of good, movement speed. Lots of good. I have my second second trial completed, so I have 4 points in my ascendancy. And the points that we went for, I'll showcase shortly, but essentially more passive points, which was super helpful in the early game. And then the other points I got was unaffected by slows. Very nice for just overall survivability. Anyway, that is the mapping experience. So we start off as Ranger, and we path towards the attack speed. Also grab this element chance and damage with hits against element enemies affected by an element. Come down here. I put in the mobilytics guide that I went straight for the skill speed, which I did. Very, very important for our attack speed and the reload speed. I then came down here and beelined over to instant reload. I actually went for these 2 points originally, and forwent this at the start because I didn't have enough points. Then once I had enough points, which I believe it was just that I did my lab or did my trial, I unspec'd out of this and then spec'd it into all this. Came over here, grabbed lightning rod, and then went down and grabbed sand in the eyes. Afterwards, went here for attack damage, here for magnitude of shock, here for elemental damage with attacks, and then I went up here for additional fork chance. Actually, I didn't get this until I got fork in my setup for my skill, which is this right here. Got this. Then I went for Herald damage because by this time I had used Herald of Thunder long enough. Then I went for Primal Sundering just to get some more attack damage. This wheel is new, I believe. Very, very good. Very, very helpful. The AoE is actually helpful for our shock burst rounds. And then I went for, once I had enough dexterity, I went for Falcon Technique. And right now I think I have 150 dex. So I'm right at the next breakpoint for, what is that? 25 times, so 4, 5, 6. So 6% attack speed for this. The corresponding nodes to go up to it is actually really good too. Gives you even more attack speed. Then I went for the companion was, I got the companion yesterday. So I didn't have these nodes spec'd in originally. So once I got my companion, I went for this because it's a lot of reservation for a companion. And so I went down for these 3 nodes, which are very helpful. Without these 3 nodes, I can't also use Cast on Shock, which I'll talk about shortly. Very, very incredible companion nodes. You get a bunch of damage, and you get essentially, if you're used to PoE2, this is the minion node, where increases and reductions to minions also apply to you. So all the nodes up above or up to it give you essentially 20% damage as long as you're in their presence. Went for some evasion rating and freedom of movement just to double down on the movement speed penalty reduction, which we will eventually get running assault once I can complete my 3rd lab. I failed twice. So get this here. It won't feel so bad to attack while you're moving. And then the last piece will be immunity to freeze. There is a world where later on in the game, we unspec 5 points. I need to figure out which 5 points those are. And then go for sustainable practices as long as we have enough evasion rating, which right now I have 5116. So 30% of that evasion rating would count as elemental damage reduction. And my anoint right now is after image because I have not found a lot of instilling or the anoint currency. Excuse me. Found a lot of anoint currency, so went straight for this because I had it. I had everything except for disgust. Bought disgust on the market, and yeah, so I anointed that. For the gear, must get a pretty decent crossbow. I was able to find this. It dropped for me +5 projectile skills, elemental damage with attacks with lightning damage. I then socketed lightning damage. I also tried LE damage with attacks as the socketables too, but we don't have enough flat damage yet, so it wasn't as good. So socketed these back in. Attack speed, life, resistances. This was a really good pair of gloves that I found on the trade site. Found them, slammed chaos res. Very nice. We can use 2 charm slots. I did not expect to slam 2 charm slots on this. I got, it had cold res and I think the armor. And I was like, well, we can go ahead and regal. I regaled 2 charm slots and then slammed alive. Very nice. Boots, highest evasion rating that you can get with resistances. Super important because right now I'm sitting at barely enough fire res and then my cold and lightning are overcapped. And then I need to cap my chaos res. Rings, make sure you get flat lightning damage with life and resistances to fill it out. I was able to snag 2 rarity rings with modifiers I liked. The flat cold damage is still helpful, but it's not the best because it doesn't trigger a lot of our lightning damage nodes. So this is not as good. I couldn't find one that had high lightning damage to attacks with strength and lightning res. So I went ahead and just caved and went for cold damage. We need spirit in this build. So I went for spirit on my amulet and spirit on my chest piece. This is evasion rating, all attributes, cold res. We also need all attributes or attributes for strength and int for cast on shock and strength for keeping up with both our crossbows and our crossbow skills. Chest piece, spirit, fire and cold res, and some evasion rating. This chest piece is not best in slot. Best in slot would be pure evasion. We're not scaling energy shield anywhere. The straight evasion is much better because it gives us that extra oomph once we grab. I'll grab acrobatics in the late game, but I need a ton of evasion rating to grab this because they nerf this a little bit harder. 5%. 5% more or less evasion rating. So pre-patch, Dawn of the Hunt patch, it was 70% less evasion, and now it's 75% less evasion. And then for the helmet, just flat, or try to go as much for a high evasion rating base as you can. I was able to get lucky and get a lot of life, some extra intelligence, and dual res. For our sockets, I put life in the boots because I didn't have any life, because I didn't need any more resistances. This may be replaced with percent life, but I needed a higher life total in the moment, and I did not check on the percent life socketable. So we're using Galvanic Shards as our main damage dealer for clear. With Galvanic Shards, we are putting in close combat is not required at the beginning. That'll be your fourth link, but you'll want to do Conduction, Lightning Infusion, and Fork. Fork is a tier 3 support gem. So once you start getting those in the campaign, 100% get Fork first. Super, super important. And then close combat once you get a fourth socket. Our main single target damage dealer is Shock Burst rounds, where we're using all of our attack speed. We're not using martial tempo in Galvanic Shards. We're using it in Shock Burst rounds. Primal Armament, and then Conk Effect. And then once you get a fourth socket, you'll want to put in Elemental Focus. I'll put this way. I'll go back to the cast on shock in a second. So Herald of Thunder, you want to use Innervate, Electrocute, and Long Shot. Long Shot just so you can get the back rares as you're like to the very end of your Galvanic Shards, or whenever it forks and hits mobs in the very back. This helps improve the damage that the lightning bolts do whenever they hit in the back. Electrocute, because Herald of Thunder cannot shock. We use this for a little bit of electrocute buildup. You can get electrocution chance in the tree. It helps improve this considerably, but I'm not there yet. I don't really need it yet, but I will need it as I get closer to tier 15s. So stay tuned for how that feels later. Wind Dancer is our main defense to greatly improve our evasion rating. Even though this was nerfed, it's still really good. You want to use Blind and Maim, and then once you get enough Spirit, you'll want to slot in Cannibalism. I have it in my inventory, but I had to take it out because of my monkey, my Quadrilla. Emergency Reload. I barely use this just because I don't think about using it during a fight, but it's very important to use because it gives a lot of damage with Premeditation and Ingenuity. And then I have Haste Aura. The increased air effect, I think, is a dead mod because it doesn't really help his presence modifier. So the Haste Aura doesn't go beyond the presence, which I think is just 4 meters around him. And I'm using Meat Shield, Last Gasp, and Enormity. It helps him survive a little bit longer. I don't know how much longer, to be honest. He still dies pretty quickly. But the good thing is, I think with Last Gasp, it greatly improves how long it takes for him to respawn. And Voltaic Grenade, I use this on bosses to try to get electrocution chance up, but Voltaic Grenade doesn't do a lot of damage. I may swap this out. It's not important. But with Voltaic Grenade, I'm using Second Wind, Neural Overload, and Payload. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you have a great day wherever you are, morning, afternoon, evening, and we'll catch you in the next video. Take care.